Welcome back to our Euphoria reaction show. My name is Carly.
That sounds like Jenna.
Today we're going to recap and react to Euphoria Season 2, Episode 2 called Out of Touch. Let's react to the intro, I guess.
The opening scene or opening sequence right there. Crazy!
Nuts. They came in hot once again.
This show is crazy, dude. It's just pure pandemonium. First of all, Nate, just his whole state of being at this point where he just got, man, like Fez did him in.
He got the shit beat out of him.
He's in bad shape. But he came out of it though, right? Like he's not dead, you know? And then he's fantasizing about old girl.
Right, and then they go into this fever dream sequence where he's fantasizing having a life with Cassie, and basically I feel like it's never Nate's fault in Nate's mind, and he feels like Maddie was the issue and Cassie's different, and so if I give her my love, which is super toxic and abusive, psychopathic kind of love.
That's crazy, bro.
Then I can have this life with her, and I'm not gonna fuck her up like my dad fucked me up and my future children. And it's like, I feel like that's what he wants, but he thinks that's what he wants, but at the same time, like, then he's flashing to Jules as well, and I feel like Jules is who he really wants in his heart.
There's so much, much going on.
It's like, so deep.
What else was in the intro?
Basically, he goes through that dream sequence, and then it flashes back to him being in the hospital, and he's super injured.
And his dad,
like
he's saying like, I won't mess my kid up the way my dad messed me up. The way his granddad messed him up. So
right,
there's like a cycle of like toxic behavior in the whole family. Like it's just toxic.
It's just passed down.
His dad is toxic as hell, yo.
Yeah, because he thinks about his dad and watching those videos of him as a kid, which is crazy.
And then they reminded us that he lost the video. Oh, girl got the video.
Right. Maddie has the video of Jules and Cal.
All bad.
It's bad.
All bad.
It's bad news bears right now. It's no good. It's no bueno. So, Rue and Jules go back to school, and they're in lovey-dovey dream world. But then Elliot comes in.
Elliot coming down the hall as she's talking with Jules.
As she's making out with Jules. And then she's like, oh shit, he better not come up and say that we were doing drugs together on New Year's, because I feel like she's high in that moment. And then she makes it super awkward. And you can tell that Jules is feeling upset about it. And it's just really weird.
Mm-hmm. But you go crying in the bathroom.
She goes in the bathroom and cries. Rue is like, what the fuck am I doing? And then Elliot's like, that was awkward. Yeah.
Right, it was awkward.
It was weird. And
you can't introduce your girlfriend like that, period.
Right, and they just, like, finally got together. Like, you need to be on your best behavior.
I know, and my thing is, why is she doing drugs so hardcore? You got what you wanted, right?
But it's not about that.
What was it about?
I think Rue does drugs because, first of all, she's upset about her dad dying. Mm-hmm. And then I think she also struggles with multiple mental illnesses that a lot of kids end up doing drugs because, if you remember in the first season, she was diagnosed with all this stuff and then they started giving her all these pills. So I think it becomes more of a normalized thing. And then you're like, oh, like an Adderall's not bad, you know? And then you just start popping pills, and then next thing you know, you're snorting pills. And the next thing you know, you're a drug addict. And I think that's what happened to Rue. But she
going through it.
She's missing something with herself, so she copes through drugs, and so Jules is not the answer to her problems. Although I think they have a love connection. I think that's genuine.
Their love is genuine, yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's a hard time for both of them. In high school, a hard time for everybody. And then you had drugs and sex and love in the mix, and it's just messy.
That's a whole mess.
That's a mess. And then we see Cassie
with Maddie
discussing what they want for the new year, and Cassie's saying she wants to be abstinent, and Maddie's like, no, because you couldn't do that because you love to feel loved. And that triggered the thought for me about Cassie and why she had sex with Nate. I feel like it's because, first of all, her dad became a junkie and left, so she's missing a masculine father kind of figure in her life. Cassie was cognizant of her decision to have sex with Nate, and I feel like she wanted that on the low, but it's just toxic. They're both toxic and they shouldn't be together. And not to mention, you're betraying your best friend in the realest way, and that is breaking code on every level. I feel like you just can't.
My thing is she gonna tell her what they did? Do you think she's gonna tell her?
Tell Maddie?
Is he gonna come to the light?
I think Maddie's gonna find out. I don't think that Cassie's gonna tell her.
I feel like karma-wise, you're not gonna get away from it.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's too close to home. It's too messy.
Everything is messy. You know what I mean? Everything with everybody is messy.
It's a mess. It's one big mess.
You know, I'm just curious. Is she gonna tell her what's going on or what? Or is she gonna start feeling guilty? Because she just hanging with her like she didn't smash her dude like that.
Right.
I mean, I guess they're not together, right? Like, technically.
Still, it's just not cool.
But it's just not.
And you know he's a psycho.
And he's a little cray-cray.
So, you know, like, what's that about?
So it's just like, what's that about? And they having little romantic thoughts about each other and all of this. And it's just like...
They want to be all playing
It's already messy, dude. It's already messy.
It's going to become messier.
It's going to be
That's
messy.
my prediction. We want to touch on Cal Jacobs' story because after Nate gets out of the hospital, obviously his dad wants to know who assaulted him and what happened. One of the interesting things that's more low-key is that the mom is on the couch with Cal, and she's so removed from the whole story. I feel like she's barely present, but she's like, I don't see this happening without it being unprovoked by Nate. And then Cal's just like, well, he's our son. You know? So it's like they know what he's like. He's crazy. And so then Cal shows up at Cassie and Lexi's family home, and their mom just lets him come in and dominate them, basically, and interrogate them in their home, which I think is weird. And then Cassie spills the beans.
Yeah, snitching. She tells on Fez, saying that he attacked Nate at the party. He was the one that attacked him.
And then Lexi likes Fez, so she's mad at Cassie about that.
So they're headed in opposite directions on that.
And then Lexi was also thinking about her life and how she has always been somebody that didn't really stand up for what she believed in and just kind of lets things slide and lets people walk on her. Pretty much. He doesn't stand up when it counts.
She doesn't speak up.
Yeah.
Well, my thing, what I want to touch on about Cassie is that she is a stage 5 clinger.
She is. They halfway hooked up on New Year's Eve.
She's I don't want to say she's crazy, but it's just like, whoa, like
she's doing too much for what it was. Like, you hooked up kinda halfway, you know, for a few minutes in the bathroom at a New Year's Eve party.
She's like, I need to see you. Like, come on, man.
She even threatens self-harm and
she's
stuff.
Crying on the phone. Like, it's just like
her mom's watching her. Like, what's going on with Cassie?
What's going on with her?
She's having a nervous breakdown,
I mean, she's doing a lot.
I think she feels guilty, but she also wants to keep having sex with Nate.
Does she feel guilty though? Because she's like talking on the phone with Maddie, and she's like, Maddie's telling her like, oh, Nate did this sweet stuff for me today or whatever, and she's like, really? Like,
she's jealous, but like, she doesn't know what she wants. She's just a mess.
But then meanwhile, she's thinking about Nate too, so it's just like, I don't know, like
something about Nate entices Maddie and Cassie because they're both like, we want to be with Nate, but it's like
he's your best friend, right? That's your best friends do, whether they're together or not.
Right.
Is irrelevant. Why are you trying to smash him so hard? Like you trying to.
It's not cool.
Not only is she trying to smash, she's trying to be with him. You know.
Yeah, she wants to date him.
Like she wants a relationship with him. How shady is that?
Right. Meanwhile, Rue is getting high with Elliot.
They're codependent. She's full on back on drugs. Like.
Hardcore.
She's back on drugs.
She's really on the drugs.
And clearly that's where it's headed for her. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I think we need to talk about Kat's little fantasy. She got everything she wanted with Ethan, but she's unhappy in that relationship, and then she has that daydream about the Dothraki man coming through and banging her brains out, basically, and killing her boyfriend. And then she's all depressed. She's supposed to go on a date, and then she has another kind of daydream thing where all these girls show up, and it's like, love yourself, Kat.
It was just like
she's like, no.
You know, it's interesting that and there's this kind of story where there's people who have what they want, right? Like, in one hand, they have what they want, and at the same time, they're not satisfied.
Right.
You know? So that's an interesting kind of storyline that's kind of still developing.
Yeah.
And
then she's lying about it to her friends, because they're in the bathroom, and she's yeah, he's
doing this craziness.
Doing crazy stuff. And they're like, oh yeah?
So why is she lying? Like, I don't...
She's not sure that she wants that anymore, I think, you know?
So she's kind of in a weird place.
Yeah.
And then Cassie is like full on...
obsessed.
But then it's like, is Nate a little bit a willing participant? I mean, clearly he is, you know what I mean? But, the thing with them, you know, like they're talking on the phone, they trying to link up and stuff right now. It's just
sneaky
like
link.
It's just real sneaky, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I thought Maddie was your best friend.
Right. Right. Nate is not a reliable character. I think he's a loose cannon.
I mean,
and Cassie's kind of losing it too, and they're super toxic for each other, and I think that's why they're drawn to each other. And then Rue's over here doing drugs.
She nodding off in the narcotics.
Yeah,
meeting.
Ali is totally on her because she gets in that chair, and it's the handicapped chair going up the stairs. Like
it's clear what this is. Man. So it's just like, man, what is?
She got everything she wanted.
She's another one
right?
that got everything that it appears that she has gotten everything that she wanted, which was Jules.
Right, she was pining after the entire first season. They finally, at the end of the last episode, have that moment where she says that she wants to be with Jules, and then they kiss, and it's beautiful and amazing.
Here, at the same time, she's having this great high. She's also at her lowest low that we've seen as far as her drug use.
It's bad.
It's
scary.
It seems like it's getting worse. You know, every episode. So it's just getting worse and worse. So, yeah, man, I don't know.
Jules is already upset as well.
Jules is...
Because she knows in her heart something isn't right, no matter what it is. Like, she knows, so...
And so, the drama continues.
Yeah. Now, Nate is going with Cassie to the construction site, and...
we're gonna see what happens.
Ain't nothing good gonna happen with that. Nate and Cassie have sex again. She hops out after he gives her an out once again, saying they shouldn't be together and they shouldn't continue to see each other. And then she runs out into the construction site, and then inevitably they have sex again.
I mean, they're smashing. You know what I mean?
They're full-blown smashing at this point.
At this point, and it is what it is. Clearly, no one cares about Maddie's feelings in the situation, or they wouldn't be doing that.
No.
So...
And then Maddie wants to get back together with Nate, too.
It's really a bad situation because clearly Cassie wants, like, more than just sex.
Right.
She's, like, dreaming of being with
commitment.
him. You know what I mean? And clearly he's been talking to Maddie, telling her, we're going to get back together because she just told... Who did she tell that to?
Cassie.
That they was about to get back together. Yeah. So there's some weird, like, you know, it's just like she's in an interesting position where she's hearing her best friend's thoughts and feelings on the situation, but also dealing with her man.
Right.
Like, you know they trying to get back together, but you just straight up smashing him.
It's bad. Cal Jacob shows up at Fez's and Ashtray's gas station with the gun in his pocket, and he goes in there intimidating them, and Lexi happens to also be there in that moment.
He's like, did she tell you who I am?
Basically threatening them.
It's just a very tense moment.
Ashtray was pulled out the gun and cocked it like he was ready to pop him.
I feel like it was that type of energy. You know what I mean? And,
like, is someone gonna die right now?
You know what I mean?
It was really violent undercurrent of energy where it was like, we might, like, we're really beefing.
Right.
So that's gonna get really bad. And then Ali takes Rue home. Wants to meet her mom.
And kind of covers for her.
But on the way out is like...
her status, you know what I mean?
Might
get it together, Rue. But, of course, the situation at the gas station leads to Cal confronting Nate, asking him, why is this low-life drug dealer the guy that beat you up? And then Nate responds, do you really want to have this conversation? And he's like, yeah. And then I feel like it was probably the most sobering moment of Cal's life where he's like, you know, remember the underage classmate of mine that you were smashing? Yeah, like, it's out there now, basically, you know?
He said Jules told Rue who told Fez, and he tries to justify it by saying, well, I didn't know how old she was. She lied about her age. And he said, well, she didn't know you were recording her. And then he asks him, well, do you have the tape? And Nate just stares at him and he asks again. He's like, do you have the tape? And then they cut it. But we know as the audience, Maddie has the tape.
Maddie has the tape. When she slipped out of that book or whatever.
Man, it's bad.
And she now has it. And then didn't he? I thought he stole it back.
No. She stole it out of the book.
Right.
She stole last episode.
So she has it. So what is she doing with it is the next thing.
They haven't even brought that up yet from Maddie's perspective, but I think it's definitely gonna unravel.
But she's wanting to be with him now, so it's like there's that dynamic that's kind of like what's gonna happen with that tape, because that's very important. Like,
and Nate wouldn't just go down. Other people committed crimes behind this. Like, Jules testified under oath. Like, people have lied.
Right. It's to
the police.
It's a problem.
The whole community is like involved in crime.
Who has it? Who has seen it? You know, like what's going on? It's bad. It's messy. A bad situation. So I can't wait till the next episode. You know.
And then they closed it out when it cuts to the credits. It's a new Labyrinth song, who also did the soundtrack for last season.
Right.
Because I tried to Shazam it, and it was unavailable, so I did some research, and they were saying that that's an unreleased one. But it went really well with the mood of that moment, where it's like...
very dope artist.
Killing it.
Yeah.
That was a great episode. I feel like that really developed a lot of the plots, and then we're going to see... popping off.
But of course.
But of course, it's only going to get worse. That's a wrap. Till next time, that was episode 2, Euphoria season 2. 10 out of 10. Can't wait for the next one.
Drama.
Yep. Peace.
Later.